All right, well, we are at the pointy end of the New South Wales election now. There's one more sleep to go, and Premier Dominic Perrottet and Labor leader Chris Minns were out busy making their last-minute pitch to voters today. Even the Prime Minister popped up in Penrith today campaigning for Minns. So joining me now is Sky News reporter Julia Bradley from the electorate of Willoughby. Julia, welcome.
Hello, Caleb.
Now, obviously, it's the last day of the campaign. You've been with the Premier today. What's he been up to and how's he feeling?
Well, Caleb, it was a massive day of campaigning for Premier Dominic Perrottet. It's election eve, so this is the last chance for him to really convince those voters to stick with the Liberal Party to try and sell his policies. And there was a huge agenda today. We hit 8 electorates that the Liberal Party is desperate to sandbag. So the Liberal Party focusing on targeting those seats today that it holds rather than being on the offensive. We started the day on Sydney's Lower North Shore, targeting the seats of North Shore itself and also the electorate of Willoughby, and that is a seat, the seat of North Shore, that is being targeted by a Teal independent candidate. Trying to boost the campaign of the local Liberal MP Felicity Wilson there was Trent Zimmerman, and he is the former federal MP for that overlapping federal seat of North Sydney, which, as we know, was picked up by Teal independent Kylie Tink back in May. Now, it was a rather frosty reception for Dominic Perrottet at a polling booth in North Shore. Someone who was out campaigning for the Medical Options Party was there heckling him about the fact that vaccines are still required in some industries and workplaces, even though that statewide mandate for COVID vaccines has been scrapped. But it was a warmer reception when the Premier was in the seat of Cogra, held by Labor leader Chris Minns. He also targeted seats like Holsworthy, also East Hills and Penrith, which, as you say, was also visited by the Prime Minister this afternoon.
I mean, what is the overall feeling on the ground? You say the reception was reasonably warm. Obviously, we've heard all week about the prospect of a hung parliament. Is there a feeling really either way as to where this could go?
There's a mixed reception for both leaders. We all remember that Sky News Daily Telegraph People's Forum that was held the other night in the electorate of Penrith, and it was interesting to note that Labor leader Chris Minns received loud claps from the crowd at about 4 different points throughout that debate. There were no claps for Dominic Perrottet, but still, when you go out with the Premier at certain polling booths, some people still really coming up to him and vocalising the fact that they are not going to turn away from the Liberal Party, that they've been voting Liberal for years and years already. It does seem like there's a bit of mood for change on the ground. A lot of people really see Chris Minns as that fresh-faced, confident leader, but we'll have to wait to see whether Dominic Perrottet's record and that record infrastructure, that infrastructure pipeline that the Liberals have got across the line is going to be enough to give them another term of government.
Just on Minns, what was he up to today? And I'm sure he'll be hoping a little bit of backing from Albo would have given him a little bit of wind.
Exactly right. Certainly a federal boost today with Prime Minister Anthony Albanese out in that Western Sydney seat of Penrith, which is going to be crucial. It was a really early start for Chris Minns. He was out at the Sydney markets bright and early, meeting with business owners, and then headed over to watch trains being made in Auburn. He then headed over to the electorates of both Ryde and Parramatta. These are seats that are held by the Liberal Party, but seats that the Labor Party say they are confident of flipping. The Labor leader copping a bit of flack over those comments made by the South Coast candidate, Liza Butler, in relation to gambling, suggesting the gambling addiction is something that impacts multicultural communities. That was really something that was put to Chris Minns today as he held his press conference, but certainly that opportunity today for both leaders to try to sell their policies and their pitches for the future.